Alright, let's see how this turns out. It's probably going to be upside down, if it even turns it at all. Um, so I am in Denver, Colorado right now. This has been this has sucked so far. Let's just say that it's sucked. Um, he wasn't at the place we were supposed to meet at 12:30, Planet Fitness. I sat there in the parking lot for a little over an hour waiting on him. Um, that sucked. I forgot to pack my jacket. I ended up buying this one for $35 at a Love's. Um, there was some drama within the first few minutes of me getting in the truck. Um, he didn't understand some hours of service rules, and about you have to have your last 8 days logged. Um, so I was asking him how we were going to log my last 8 days before I started driving, and he didn't know what I was talking about. He got frustrated. He got irritated. He got passive aggressive and basically told me to get off his truck. He was like, "Well, if I'm not the trainer for you, then you can just pack your stuff and get off the truck and go find another trainer." Very passive aggressive like that. It pissed me off. Um, we made it past that. He called somebody in safety. They didn't know what in the hell we were talking about, and they agreed with him. And I told him that they were both wrong, in a nice way, as nice as I possibly could. I was getting very, very, very frustrated. So then he called a second person in safety after I'd started getting my stuff off the truck twice. He had basically told me to get off his truck twice. So the second person in safety, instead of him talking to them, he put them on speaker, and I talked to them and explained to them, what was going on. They told him that I was 100% correct, and they gave us a solution to the problem. I just logged it on a paper log, and problem solved. We moved on, but it was a very tense first 30 minutes in the truck, and I really thought about just going ahead and grabbing my stuff and getting the hell off the truck because this guy was a jackass. Um, but I stayed, and I'll tell you that it's really hard to say. He comes across as a really nice guy, but he's extremely passive aggressive and very rude uh, on some stuff. Um, I don't know if he's normally like this or if it's just because he's mad at me because I made him look bad or something because he didn't understand hours of service. Anyway, he's a decent instructor for the trucking industry, and it kind of sucks. I knew it was going to suck being on the truck. It's just going to suck. Two strangers living in a space this small is not cool. He's not the OCD clean freak that I was told he is. It's kind of stank up in here. When I first got in the truck, it smelled like BO and spoiled milk. And I think the spoiled milk smell is from he likes to eat cereal, and he just puts the cereal bowl underneath the passenger seat here, and it's got some milk in it, dried up in the bottom of it, and I think that's where the rank milk smell is coming from. And his workout clothes, he keeps them in here somewhere. He just put them on to go into a Planet Fitness, and yeah, I could smell the funk coming off of them. So that's probably where the BO smell is coming from. But the trucker dream, we're living it, brothers. uh, all in all, it is awkward in here, but he tries to be very nice. He tries to be very um like how to put it, like he tries to be accommodating, but he's also kind of passive aggressive in that, like, if I don't, he tries to be nice about leading me to do something, like, you want to drive, or, oh, I can take over for you. And then, but he'll make some kind of underhanded statement, like, you know, in a very nice tone about, something like so it's, he doesn't like forcefully pressure me into stuff. It's just this little passive aggressive thing that he does. But like the first time I backed up the truck was about an hour ago, and it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't horrible either. And he made some comments about how bad it was. I was like, "Are you kidding me? This is the first time I backed up one of these trucks in 15 years, and it took me less than 5 minutes to back it in. But whenever I did the setup, I didn't set it up perfectly, and I had to do a little blind side on it." I didn't tell him any of that, but that's what's going through my mind. Is like, are you fucking kidding me? But then after he, basically told me I was shit, then he was like, yeah, you're doing really good. You're doing really good. You're really good. So it's, I don't know. It's really easy to get under my skin and annoy me. So most people probably would not find him as annoying as I do, but I'm gonna find everybody annoying in some way, shape, or form. But as far as trainers go, this is a much better situation than the last time I went through this, and I had to deal with this team driving training crap. There are some weird people in the trucking industry, and these trainers, they call trainers, these people have no formal training of their own. These are people that just, once you get 9 months of experience, you become a trainer. And I think it's probably like a 2-hour class that you take to become a trainer at most trucking companies. So they don't really have any formal training or anything. And there's not a whole lot of controls in place. So the quality of instructors in the training industry is typically not very, very high. But given those standards, he's like, he would be, really high up there in trucking standards, because he is a really nice guy, and he's constantly, telling me if I don't want to do something, just let him know and he can take over driving, or he'll do the backing, or he'll do this, or he'll do that. He's making it very easy for me to do stuff, but avoid doing stuff I'm uncomfortable with. But at the same time, we're behind on loads, and he's running us pretty hard right now, and I'm kind of pressured to run all of my hours and everything. The situation we're in right now is that he's going to be out of hours here pretty soon, and I have to drive from Boulder to Muskogee, bobtail. So we are getting unloaded right now. The shipper is letting him drop the trailer and come over here and exercise at Planet Fitness while they're unloading him. And then we're going to go back at 2 o'clock, pick up that empty trailer, take it from Denver, Colorado to Boulder, drop it off there at some new account that they're trying to get business with. And then we're going to bobtail to Muskogee. They're just going to use that trailer and load it up for somebody else. We're not going to sit around and wait for them to load it up. We're going to bobtail to Muskogee, Oklahoma, which I don't like bobtailing. These trucks don't handle very well without a trailer attached to them. I don't like, the worst thing that you can do driving one of these trucks is bobtailing. The second worst is an empty trailer. And then how much weight you want on the trailer depends on like the situation. I think that like being about 65-70,000 pounds is really good for slick roads, but he told me that you want absolutely as much weight as possible. So he's probably right on that. But generally, these trucks handle their best with about 25,000 pounds in the trailer. So that what would that be? That'd be about 60,000 pounds total overall weight. Is what I found that these trucks handle their best at. But bobtailing sucks is the point that I'm making. It's very dangerous. These trucks really aren't designed to bobtail. But that's what I'll be doing is bobtailing for about 600 miles. I forget the exact mileage on it. But I'm going to try and keep this video kind of short. I'm going to try uploading on my phone and see what the upload is like. I want to see if this video is probably upside down. Like, if I remember correctly, whenever I do this rotate thing with YouTube, it does it the other direction that I normally rotate. We will see. But in general, what's going on? I'm team driving training. It's not like full on team driving. At no point during my driving has he been in the sleeper, but he has offered to let me go into the sleeper while he's driving. So we've basically been switching driving so that we can drive more hours in a day. And I've been sitting in the passenger seat in an off-duty state, and he's been sitting in the passenger seat in an off-duty state. Technically, we're legally supposed to be on duty, but I'm not going to go into details about all the weird shit that's going on. I don't want to get too personal on this, but yeah, I don't want to throw him under the bus on a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, I just want to gut through this 28 days. That's it, and I want to get some experience. More experience driving the truck and backing the truck, and get a feel for it. So it's last time I was driving, I remember I got a really good feel for the truck, but right now I do not have a good feel for the truck. I don't even have a good feel for the truck on making turns or anything, so it's going to take a while to get back to it. This is definitely one of those skills that if you don't use it, you lose it, and you lose it really, really quick. I remember last time I was driving, I got to the point where I just felt as comfortable in this truck as in my car. And I am nowhere near that point right now. Like, I am so far from that. And there's a whole bunch of janky stuff that with the truck. Like, I was under the impression, maybe I misheard it during orientation, but I could have swore that they said these trucks are governed at 65. And I thought somebody asked if they were 65. They would only go 65 when you were cruising, and they would go like 63 whenever you were not on cruise control. And I could have swore that Dawn in orientation said that wasn't true. It's 65 on the pedal or on cruise. Well, it's 63 on pedal and 65 on cruise, which kind of sucks. And they told us in orientation that this collision avoidance system will only turn the throttle off. It will not do any braking. And Miguel told me that he's had it brake on him a couple of times, but he wasn't 100% on that. When he initially was very, he warned me that this thing will hit the brakes. And I told him, we talked about that in orientation. They told us that the only thing that it would do is dethrottle if you got, going too fast, like over 80 miles an hour or something. It would dethrottle you, or 70, I forget which. But then he backpedaled a little bit and he said that he wasn't certain on whether or not it would apply the brakes. That's something that's really nice to know, to be certain of, on whether or not this thing will slam the brakes on you. Because if you're driving on slick roads and somebody merges on you, and then they slow down a little bit, this collision avoidance system will start going crazy because you're closing distance and there's not a lot of distance between you, and if it gets too close, it'll slam on the brakes, according to Miguel. I don't know, we'll see. But this is only day 2. It sucks really bad. It really, really sucks. But it's not as bad as last time I did this with Swift. That was way worse. And his driver manager, I think, has been messaging us, asking us if we've made the delivery yet. I think they made some kind of exception for us because I don't think that they do any they don't receive anything later than like noon or something, or 10 a.m., and it's all outgoing after a certain time. And they made some kind of exception for us to do the delivery after they don't normally take in deliveries. And the manager there was really pissed off. Miguel told me some stuff that he said, and I initially thought that he was joking. And he said, no, he was serious. And I said, well, was the guy joking about it? And he said, no, he was serious. I'm like, what an asshole. Like, yeah, it was really bad. So, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that I don't think I'll get into on like the personal like living conditions and the interaction between Miguel and I. Since we're both sitting up here in the front, we're basically talking all the time. So for the most part, we're just chit chatting. But there are some awkward moments, like whenever I initially got on the truck, and we had a disagreement on the hours of service. We've had a few disagreements on a few things like that, and I think I've pissed him off, and he's gotten very passive aggressive whenever that happens, over these little things. But I'm kind of getting a feel for his personality. He doesn't like for anybody to basically undermine his authority. So I'm just gonna bite my tongue on everything that he's having me do, unless it's gonna like give me a citation. I'm not gonna relent on my driving record. I'm not gonna do anything that's gonna ding me on my driving record. But for everything else, I'm just gonna try not to disagree with him, or you know just gonna say yes and move along so that we don't butt heads on anything. So hopefully we get this whole. I think that he's still upset over the whole hours of service thing, the disagreement we had when I initially got in the truck, because he keeps bringing it up, and making excuses for it and blaming other people, and stuff like that. And that he's like, why hasn't anybody brought this up to me before? I've been doing it like that for 9 years. He's been training for 9 years, and he's never had anyone bring that up before. Um, but yeah, it's kind of a good thing that he's been training for 9 years, because he's got his system down, but at the same time, he thinks he's infallible because he's been training for 9 years and he has 15 years of driving experience. But apparently, the only company he's ever driven for is USA Truck. This is the only company he's ever driven for, and that's so he doesn't have a whole lot of. I don't know. I don't want to get into it. Yeah, I think I'll cut it there. 18 minutes. We'll see if this uploads. I'm gonna try to upload through Google Fi, which I think uses the AT&T network, and see how the upload goes. But I'm just wishing that I was further along in the training. The only thing that I really, really need to get down in this training is backing. And honestly, if I don't get backing down in this training, then whenever they assign me a truck, I'm just gonna practice backing in the terminal, until I get comfortable with it. So even if I don't get backing down while I'm doing this here, then I'll get it. So that's it. All right, thanks.